for?
I got tea too, by the way. I was going to get it in a little bit.
Well, hello and welcome everybody to another Thursday night adventure of Curse of Strahd. We are now on episode 8 of our adventure, and I think that I will let my players here take it away for a little bit of a recap of last week's session, and then we will get rolling into our next episode.
Alright, we showed up at a mill. The mill had bad ladies in it. Bad ladies like to touch the cleric's penis. It was a bad time.
For the record, I did not like that.
I think that I think she was mostly focusing on the balls, but you know, that's like potato, whatever.
I think she was coming from the top. It had to go shaft first.
So not
Whoa! She really want. Sorry, continue.
I was about to say, not only were these three ladies very interested, they were also night hags and murdering children and grinding their bones into dust to put into pastry.
And one of you ate these pastries a few sessions ago, right? You had a child pastry.
You know what? I don't like to talk about it.
She had that edible.
Yeah, he sure did.
We defeated two of the hags. The third one ran away by shifting into another realm. And then some people went upstairs, and then Veen has no clue what happened up there.
So as Rimpak was trying to indoctrinate a young boy into his faith, he proceeded to find a magical artifact at the top, for which it was the Sunblade or something or other, lightsaber ex machina, and it was passed around the party and eventually ended up in the hands of Nuru, who is now loving it apparently. And the rest of us went outside and managed to gather the kids and are now trying to make our way to the next town.
There's gonna be a time later on where you guys are back in Faerun, and you know Nuru and Veen have like bought themselves a nice little cozy home, and just lining the walls will be all these different fucking magical swords that you've stolen or procured in one way or another, you know.
You can't just leave them around.
But you guys do find yourselves in the old bone grinder still, and I think we ended last week with Ismark poking his head into the mill after your battle with the hags and finding the three children and the sword, the Sunblade upstairs in the loft, urging you all to make the rest of the journey to the town of Vallaki. Rimpak has spent a little bit of time in this town. I can't remember what time of day it was when you guys reached Old Bone Grinder originally, but really in Strahd's realm it doesn't matter, because most of the time, I mean, night is definitely much darker than day would be, but day itself is still fairly fairly monotone as far as color goes. There is always mist, the sky is always covered in dark clouds, and nobody has seen the sun here in some time, or so you would assume just from the paleness of everyone's skin that you meet. And so yeah, you find yourselves, after battling with the night hags, now down in the first level of Old Bone Grinder. We can just say that you've brought all three of the children downstairs. Niles, Freak, and I think Myrtle was the little girl's name, who seems kind of sassy. And Ismark actually looks a little surprised when you guys come down the stairs, Nuru and Rimpak with three kids. And once you all, or what do you do, because you guys are kind of beat up?
Naru's going to go straight to Nice Snow and say that the little boy Freak needs healing, because he has, when Nuru first saw him, he was not looking good. he's by I mean from at least if I'm remembering correctly, he's by far the worst off of the
So it's not so much that he looks like he needs healing. You know, the Niles seems like he has a good enough spirit within him, and Myrtle definitely seems like still kind of a spirited young child. They are both, you know, Niles has these bright red rain boots on, and Myrtle has this little pink dress. She doesn't have any shoes. She's kind of barefoot, and her dress is dirty and torn in places. But you know, she's got bright blue eyes, and she definitely seems to be paying attention to what's going on. Niles just seems kind of dull and drab, and his eyes are sunken into his head, and he's got these big dark circles under his eyes, and there doesn't seem to be any life in him, really.
Even so, like Nuru was so like taking the nice snow and asked her if she can do it because like even if he doesn't look physically, he still looks worse off than you for sure.
You're cutting out a little bit, Nuru. Like in and out.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's
so
a storm going on, so that might be it.
Okay. So you said Niles looks he's sunken and sullen, right?
No, not Niles.
Freak does.
Okay.
Yeah, Niles and Myrtle look good to go. They're ready to roll. Niles, you know, looks like he's about to take on the world with his new mace. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him. Can't wait to get back to Vallaki and talk to the Blue Water Inn about him.
As Nice Snow looks at the kid, she gets a really dour expression of sadness at seeing him swing around the weapon, and looks. She has a very distant gaze looking at him.
Like Nuru seeing Nice Snow not pay attention to Freak, he will pick Freak up.
Take him to the cleric. Make me aware. I'm a little bit occupied with Niles, and you know, beaming proudly as I see him, you know, get hefted the mace with his
Nuru
little.
Nuru doesn't want Rimpak going near right now. After seeing what happened with the other child.
What?
Well, when you guys get
tears, right?
when you guys get downstairs, you know, Niles sees all the smashing that's been done by Veen, and he like runs over to the nearest broken up piece of wood and whacks at it with his mace and looks up at you, satisfied, Rimpak, you know. And then he looks around and he sees a little toad hopping, and he smashes a toad after that with it. It splats out in a little bubble of goo.
Don't figure to keep that clean. You let goo stay on, that's going to start rusting.
He starts looking around for like a piece of cloth or something. He finds like a little, he finds like a kind of an oven, like half torn and half oven mitt, and he picks it up and he starts like wiping the frog goo off of the weapon.
Then I was like, needlessly killing creatures is not what a cleric of tier would do. We only kill which is evil.
Niles says,
"But good practice there, Niles."
That makes sense. I'll try not to kill anything innocent.
That's rule number 1. We protect the innocent with our lives if necessary.
After hearing that, Nice Snow snaps out of her daze, and she goes over and you asked her to heal a child.
Like Nuru at this point, I think if Freak is okay with it, Nuru is carrying this kid in his arms at this point, and like he's just going to show him to her, and because he doesn't know what to do, really.
Nice Snow walks over to Nuru holding the child. Can I make a knowledge as to the child's condition?
Make a religion check. You know, when you pick him up, Nuru, he doesn't seem to react at all. You're rolling to DM, Hemdriel. But you got a 19, so that's good. When you pick him up, Nuru, you know, he kind of he just doesn't react. Like, he doesn't look at you in your eyes. His head just kind of slumps down. He puts his arm like around your back around your neck to kind of steady himself so it doesn't like topple out of your arms or anything, but he just doesn't seem like he's all there. Hemdriel, you look into this child's eyes, and there's just no flash of light there. You probably believe that, and you actually have this flash of insight as well, and for some reason, deep down inside of yourself, you know that this child does not have a soul.
Nice Snow looks at him, and as Nice Snow's looking at the child, her eyes start to glow, and her pupils turn from black to a flashlight looking at the child. And as her eyes pull back in, Nuru's the only one that sees this. Nice Snow looks at him, and she goes, "His soul is gone."
What do you mean, gone?
The hags.
Naru's face, his body goes very still, and he's going to ask quietly, "Can we do it?"
And she looks down at the child, and her eyes go distant again, and she backs away.
Nuru just sort of sits there holding this kid, and he doesn't know it.
Is the child limp? Does the child walk? How movable is a child?
He walked down the stairs. He walked on the stairs on his own, but it's kind of like a zombie. You gotta almost direct him to do anything, and once you get him going, he does that action, but then he just kind of.
Does he speak?
He hasn't spoken yet.
I see this child, and I will approach, and I want to. Nuru, you're holding him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, "What happened to you, child?"
He turns his head towards the sound of your voice. He doesn't look directly into your eyes or anything, but he says, "Freak."
Freak. I want to say, "Hey, Niles, did you see what happened to your friend here?"
Niles says, "He's always been like that."
Was he here when you got here?
No, but I knew him back in Barovia. I knew Myrtle, too.
What's Myrtle? Has this boy always been like this?
She says, "Yes, he lived next door to me. He's never been much fun to play with."
What is his family's name? Sorry.
His parents...
It would have mattered with my question anyway.
His parents never came outside. They would just give all their money to the old woman for pastries, and then eventually, when they ran out, they gave Freak to them. My parents gave me to them too, and Niles's parents gave him away the same. When they didn't have any more money, they traded us for pastries.
Those pastries must be addictive.
Nuru might have some insight to why.
Nuru looks ashamed.
Nice Snow's fist balls up, as now she's realizing that these hags have manipulated the entire town.
Like a heroin ring we broke up here.
I have
Nice.
a general question.
Mm-hmm.
So, would I either way in this circumstance, do the children know Ismark and myself, or do Ismark and myself know the children or their family?
Ismark knows who all the children are. Irina does as well, and when she comes in behind Ismark, she actually kind of rushes in and she says, "Oh my gosh, Niles, Myrtle," and when she looks at Freak, she just gets a very sad look on her face. She doesn't say his name. How did you get here? You're not supposed to be way out here. You're supposed to be at home with your families. And Myrtle says, they gave us away. And Irina's brow kind of furrows, and Ismark also kind of hangs his head in shame, but he doesn't say anything, and Irina kind of goes over to the children, kneels down and hugs Niles and Myrtle like closely into her and gives them both a big hard squeeze, and she says, "Now don't you worry, we won't leave you alone again. We'll find something to do with you, I promise. If I have to take care of you myself, I will."
Nuru's gonna say, "You might just..."
What's that?
And Niles says, Irina! And he holds up his mace and he says, "Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Tyr?"
That's my boy. Put my hand on his shoulder.
Glare at Rimpak.
I will put my hand on his shoulder, and I'll look at Irina, and I'll say, as I put my hand on Niles' shoulder, and I say, "What do you know of these pastries? Have you eaten the pastries from these hags?"
Irina says, "I know nothing about the pastries. I'd seen the old woman in town before, but Barovia has been living in fear for a long time. Many people don't leave their houses. It's safer to stay inside. They come out when they need to get new stores of food, and my father used to help them as best that he could. But it was very dangerous to live where we came from." And Ismark says, "My father had spoken of them before, but I'm starting to realize that," and he looks at Irina, "our father was a coward, and perhaps I am too."
Don't tear yourselves up. These are hags. They're witches. They're very tricky and very devious. And apparently these pastries are strong enough to make parents give up their children.
Irina is still kneeling down in front of Niles and Myrtle, and she puts her hand on Niles' cheek, and she says, "No, my child, I've never heard of Tyr, but I'm sure that you can tell me all about him on our way to Vallaki." And Niles kind of smiles brightly up at you, Rimpak, nods his head.
Yeah.
Nuru is going to walk over to Veen and sort of just like nudge Freak over to Veen.
I'm going to ignore you for now and say we should leave. There's still one on the loose.
I would like to suggest we should burn this windmill to the ground.
Also, did Ismark burn the 2 bodies I told him to burn? Or is he a disobedient one?
If you asked him to burn the bodies, he'll.
I dragged the 2 bodies out and asked him to.
Sure.
Quick. I actually have a question. Would Sacred Flame be able to light the windmill on fire? I'm curious about that.
There's enough flammable shit up in here that I would say sure.
It's
because it says like flame like radiance.
I thought Sacred Flame was just like a flashlight.
It
Put it this way, I have 2 tinder boxes, we're fine.
Well, it's an evil place. There's a lot of flammable stuff, especially down in this bottom level.
Well, it does do damage, so it has to light it on fire.
Yeah. It's flame like radiance. I'd say it'd definitely be able to start a fire within the windmill for sure.
I got confused with contract.
I cast laser. Pew pew. No, but So you see Nice No going over to the middle as you say that we should light it on fire, and she's already begun the process. And you see her casting out of her hand what looks like white flames, and as they touch the thing, it starts lighting things on fire.
I'd say if you sacred flame that that barrel of demon ichor in the center of the room, that place would fucking it'd be like a demolition site. It would just
let's clear it
go.
out.
Yeah.
As you're learning to
I see
fly,
this,
you know,
buckets.
I just have to say, we're in the middle of a forest, right?
Yeah. Well, also, here's a good question: is the forest even near the mill?
I mean, typically it would be a little cleared up from the building.
On the backside, on the backside of the windmill, there's a like a 500 or 1,000 foot cliff, so it drops off, and the forest is kind of down below.
Okay. So, can I narrate this destruction of the mill?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, you see the white flames enter the building,
I move very
and
far
as
away.
as they catch on to the demon ichor, shots of black flame and white flame curl around a red and orange fire, which cones its way up the center of the windmill, bursting out of the top. And as it shoots up, it looks like a pillar of flame. And as it does, the whole building collapses. And as the stone structure breaks, the mass of the windmill falls back over the cliff in a stream of red, white, and black fire.
When these black and white flames reach the top of the windmill, the little dome at the top kind of explodes in a cloud of black smoke. And in that cloud of black smoke, you're not sure, but you think for a brief moment you see the outline of Strahd's face.
As it collapses, I'm going to lean down to Niles. I'm going to say, bring justice, destroy evil. Gotta keep whispering indoctrination into his ear. That's how it works. Repetition.
That is how brainwashing works, yes.
Go up to Veen and ask Veen if you will take the kid.
I look at the child. He can walk on his own.
He can walk on his own, yes.
So practical.
Nuru will rest a paw or a hand paw on Veen's shoulder and lightly prick him with his claws.
If he's going to survive this world, he will walk on his own.
So I'd say at least that
It's cold, Veen. I like it.
between kind of finding the Sun Sword and having the conversation with the children and Irina and Ismark and everything before lighting the windmill on fire, enough time would kind of elapse that if you wanted to do, the benefits of a short rest, you could.
Sure.
Nuru will eventually
I
take
got my.
Yeah.
I'll
So
make it my.
if you want to roll some hit dice or anything else that you might get on a short rest for your class, then you can take that.
Let me double check. I got my cheat sheet. That's the problem with DMing too much. I forget how to do all this.
So
And playing Zero E and like Pathfinder all the same time, it all gets muddled up.
Yeah. I've heard Pathfinder is so complicated.
It ain't so bad. It's not all that different from like 5 or
3.5.
really kind of 4.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5. I heard it's
basically
pretty similar to 3. It's like 3.5 plus, and they just put out so much books for it that it's like there's all these really obscure rules and stuff.
Super obscure. You ask a question and it's like a 30-minute deliberation. It's like going to Congress.
Yeah.
Also,
Then of course, Warhammer is another. Ugh. Okay, hold on. So short rest. I'm on it.
since we're taking short rest, can I also cook up my gear?
Sure. Yeah.
I do that.
As when you're ready, Rimpak, Nice Snow is going to interact with him.
Veen, do you cook it in the flames of the windmill, or do you make a separate fire?
No, I made my own fire.
Okay, because
I have my.
that's a good decision.
Yeah. Black flame is the tastiest.
Naru's going to make sure that, like, try to make sure that Freak stays near him because he is very concerned. However, he's going to try to talk to Myrtle too, make sure, see how she's doing and all that.
Nice.
Know her.
Myrtle,
Away from back.
despite her circumstance, Myrtle really doesn't seem to be terribly bothered. She's actually kind of when you kind of like when you're kind of looking at her and just trying to like keep your eye on all three of the kids, you know, she Myrtle seems like she's very intently like trying to take all of you in like she's sizing you all up in a way that is kind of strange for a child. Like there's this brightness in her eyes, and she seems like she's probably the same age range of Niles, like 5 or 6 years old, but there's like an intelligence in her eyes that is pretty superior. You'd have a lot of harder time converting Myrtle to Tyr than Niles, essentially, Rimpak. She would be asking you 10 questions per every one sentence that you said, you know? Yeah.
Naru will sit next to her and pull out.
I like the smart one.
She when you sit down next to her, she kind of leans towards you and rubs her hand on your fur, and she says, "That's funny. Nobody in Barovia ever had fur before."
I'd like to
Us.
change things up a bit.
Fur.
Usually
No, what did you
only wolves have fur, and wolves are bad. Are you bad?
Well, I'm not a wolf. I'm not great, but I don't think I'm bad. I have a cool new sword now.
She leans in kind of close to you. She says, "Well, that's okay. Freak's not very great either, but you at least seem better than him."
That's not too nice to say about him.
I don't think he knows the difference.
But it doesn't mean it's fair.
Maybe you're right. Niles is okay. He's a good hider. He always wins at hide and seek.
And what about you? What are you good at?
I like to read. I've read all the books in Barovia.
I'm sure. Any favorites?
There's a lot of stories about Strahd dying. I like those ones.
Me too. I hope to make one of those stories, you know? But not with words. Not the best at writing. He's just gonna, like, hold out his hand that's just furred with claws on it. Not the best for it, you know?
I've never seen anybody with fur before, except for the wolves, but I have seen other strangers like you. But they always die. They come often. You guys all look very nice, but I think you'll be dead soon.
Nuru was gonna laugh. You're not one to mess around, are you?
Well, it's just what I've seen.
Like that.
It's pretty smart.
Wise.
I
Naru's
point
going
at the girl and say, "This one will live."
Nuru, like, he's just gonna kind of, like, playfully nudge her with his elbow.
And after that, Nice Snow goes over to Rimpak, and she says, "I must speak with you in private."
Rimpak looks at Nice Snow and goes, "Yeah, sure."
So
Myrtle
so
goes,
we
Myrtle goes, "Oh, that should be fun."
So Nice No, she leads you just within eye shot of the rest of the party, but away from them, and she looks at you very sternly.
I shift
she
my
goes-
armor. It makes me a little uncomfortable. I let you looking at me sternly, so I'm like, all right, hold on. Oh. Okay. So what's up?
You-
Wait, hold on.
You're setting-
Pause. BRB. Talk about the weather.
I like this. I like what this is.
So the weather in Barovia is a nice balmy fog with humidity on the side of 60 degrees.
There's a heat wave hitting like most of the like summer side world right now, and I'm wearing a flannel in my house because my AC is too powerful, and my wife likes it really cold. I'm in Georgia. It's like 9 degrees every day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. So
Now we're going live to Veen and Nuru in the woods. Back to you, Nuru.
Sorry about that.
no, it's okay.
Suddenly we are forecasters.
Tonight on
And that one. That.
Barovia 4.
So to build that tension back up, Nice No brings Rimpak over to the edge of the woods, and she's just within eyeshot of the rest of the party. And she looks sternly at Rimpak and says, "You're setting him up to die."
Who? I look back at the party, like honestly confused.
The child,
Die from what?
what he will seek out.
All that justice is worth dying for.
Give him a chance to live before you indoctrinate him into a way that will get him killed.
When we get back to Vallaki, I will be sure that he will have a life until he's strong enough to use that mace properly. And then, Tyr willing, he will use it properly.
I must ask you to train him to be strong, but don't train him to be foolish. Do I have your word?
I don't even know what foolish is.
And
I'll
she-
hold up my
and-
hand. Like,
And she narrows her eyes so hard, and she's like, the Order of Tyr is known for rushing into things that they are not able to comprehend or be prepared for. Now you're leading a kid into that fight. And there are things much worse than hags.
well, then you should be grateful that the Order of Tyr exists. They're willing to rush into things worse than hags, don't you think?
Let it be of their own choice, not because it was pushed upon them. Each must follow their own path, not be manipulated into dying.
I kind of bristle at that manipulation word. Rimpak turns me. I'm going to look back at Niles as he's sitting over there on a long rest.
Children are very impressionable. You tell them one thing, they think it's true. If they're smart and wise at a young age, they're lucky enough to avoid that. Be aware of how powerful your words may be to young ones.
I'll take your words into consideration.
And then she turns around and walks away.
Naru's going to lean into Myrtle and point to two of them, and he's going to whisper and say, "You see, that right there? That was a disaster that happened."
Rimpak is going to stay where he is. And I'm going to kind of like look away from the party into the forest, and I will contemplate the words.
Sure.
And the conversation that we just exchanged for a moment.
If you guys already all didn't have inspiration, I'd be giving it out. So
Also, who wants to eat some dough?
Naru's going to make sure the kids eat first.
No, Veen eats first.
Chef's prerogative. He gets to eat first.
Well, you know the dough that you killed, for its size, the meat on it is very sparse, and so.
Yeah. It's mostly just bone and meat,
Mhm.
like tiny bit of
Yeah,
meat.
and it's very
Okay.
very taut and sinewy and chewy, and not even very pleasant or flavorful. It's like
Make venison jerky out of it.
But it's better than starving.
it's better than starving. Yes.
For some reason, you get the feeling that Nuru. This isn't the worst thing Naru's ever eaten.
I'm glad you said eaten and not put in his mouth.
Very important, the word choice there. Meanwhile, Nice Now's just eating her ration, but she's not even complaining about any part of it.
Rimpak makes his way back towards the party, but he's not quite ready to join. He then, once again, looks off in contemplation, and I'll be right back. I gotta take my dog out.
Yeah, no worries.
He contemplates about a pet he left long ago. I believe his name was Odin's son? No.
So Naru is going to ask, like, he's going to talk to Myrna. He's going to say, "There's no getting around it. This is a pretty sad, this is a pretty dark place you live in, huh?"
Myrtle says, "You know, my earliest memory was playing in the den back home. There was a big fire, and I had many toys. I had all kinds of pretty dolls, and it was nice, and it was happy.
You know,
But after that, the women showed up, and my parents started buying her pastries, and then all they would do is lay in their beds, and I would shake them, pinch them, and scream in their faces, and they wouldn't move."
Naru's going to ask her, "Is it okay if I give you a..."
She shakes her head. You can see, like, there's not like a tear falling down her cheek, but her eyes are kind of watering up.
Was it shake a head yes or shake her head no?
Yes, she shakes her head yes.
Naru's going to pull her in close, and he's going to say, if I somehow make it through all, I'm going to make sure you can have a happy life."
When you wrap your arms around her, and give her a hug, Irina and Ismark are kind of standing behind the two of you, and you look up and you also see Irina, and her eyes are also welling up with tears as Myrtle's talking.
Naru's going to look to Myrtle. Like, if I can come back to you, I'm going to make sure you can have toys and dolls and all the books you can get. And I can't promise I will come back, but I can promise that if I do, I will get these things for you.
She does say, I miss my toys. I miss my dolls. But things could be worse. I could be dead. Or I could be like Freak.
Naru's going to pull out a dagger, and he's going to hand it to her. Now, I don't normally want to give anyone a weapon, but this is small, and this world is dark.
She says,
I don't want you to have to be taken again.
She says, you know, in all the stories I've read, Strahd is killed. But a lot of people that fight him are killed as well. I don't need that dagger. I don't want to kill anything. I don't want to be like Strahd.
Naru's gonna give her, like, he's gonna put the dagger back and like give her another hug, and he's gonna say, "You're a very good person."
I think Niles will protect me. And Niles puffs out his chest and holds up his mace. He says, I will. I'll protect you all.
While Naru's like hugging Myrtle, he's going to look between Veen and Myrtle, back and forth a few times.
Can't hear you, Rimpak.
When Niall says he'll protect everybody, I kind of snap out of my contemplation and I turn around and I'm going to rejoin the party and I'll have a seat. I'm going to look over at Nice Snow and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I thought about what you said. Kind of like just give me like a look and like a nod. Or sorry, give her a look and a nod and be like, okay.
And you see her pull out a book, and you would recognize this. There's a symbol of Tyr on the book.
Oh, nice.
My eyebrows immediately rise up like, what is she having?
Wait,
And-
so hold on, Hemdriel. Then, like, describe. I know you've described your book a little bit before, like, but maybe describe it in a little more detail then, because that's pretty cool. Like, what else? How many other symbols of other gods are on there?
Well, in general, it is the triumvirate. There is a symbol of Ilmater.
Mm-hmm.
There's a symbol of Torm. There's a symbol of Tyr.
Nice.
And they are the primary ones on there. And then there's some nondescript celestial that, unless you can read it, it just looks like it's blended in with the gold lacing that gilds the outside of the tome.
Because Rimpak has not heard a description of your book either, and you brought it out once briefly before, so we all did get to kind of hear a little bit about what it looks like. But that's pretty cool. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that I see this book, the words you spoke to me earlier, you have a different weight. Not more weight, but it kind of shifts as if when I see in this book, I'm like, okay, you weren't just talking, from a different perspective, that you may be a little more aware of what I'm about than I originally perceived.
And as she does, she opens the book, and inside there is a language. Does anybody speak Celestial? Then none of you know what she's reading. And she just begins to read it.
Myrtle actually points at one of the symbols, and she says, "This looks familiar."
Nice Snow looks.
Pick
Nice Snow looks over.
Pick one of your celestial words on there, and Myrtle knows what that says.
Nuru puffs his. Like, Nuru looks incredibly proud of her.
And I'll whisper it to you, DM.
Okay.
Bah. Like, getting to your whispered to your name is hard.
There should be like a fast action for it. Like click on their name, like on their little chat box. And
That's what I'm doing wrong. The slash is on the other side.
Yeah, there you go. You could do it in Discord too if you wanted.
Discord's
That's a good idea. Discord is much, much easier.
If you do it on the stream, then other people get to see it. Oh, nice. That's a good one. Myrtle goes, I've seen this word in a lot of the stories I've read. Does it mean light?
And Nice Nose cracks like a half smile on her cheek, and she nods. Can you read any more?
She kind of glances over the rest of the book. She says, "No, but that one comes up a lot in the stories I read. Some of them are written in..."
Naru's going to say, or he's going to contemplate that for a second.
Myrtle's got a +4 intelligence modifier.
Oh, she's smart.
Myrtle is smarter than Naru.
Myrtle's smarter than all of us, I'm pretty sure.
This is our wizard for the party, boys. We gotta train them while they're young. No, so Nice No goes. She's like, yes. The thing that's not commonly understood about light is that it is something that exists in everything. So when someone says, carry a light, what many don't realize is that they already have a light inside them.
This little light of mine.
Myrtle like
I'm gonna let it shine.
puts her hand
I like
on her
it.
cheek
I
and kind
love
of rubs her cheek up and down, and she says,
Continue with what you're about to say.
a lot of the things that I've read are, written in different ways, and I don't think I ever really knew what that symbol meant until now, but it makes sense.
What? Nuru's gonna ask her, what about light did you read in these stories?
Myrtle says, well, people always write about how dark Barovia is, and nobody really knows what real light looks like. Our lamps have light, and I've read that some people have more light than others, but I didn't really know what it meant until I saw that symbol. And she looks over at Freak and she says, I'm sorry about some of the things that I've said about you, Freak. And he turns his head kind of towards her and he says, Freak.
Nuru looks happy and sad.
And Nice No says, despite the darkness that you will experience in your life, carry your light, keep it close.
Naru's going to make... He's gonna make one other promise for her. If we do get out of this, I know I've been saying that a lot, but if we do, how would you like to see a sunrise with me?
I've also read about the Morning Lord. It used to be what everyone in Barovia believed in, and I think some still do, but I've never seen the sun. It's in the books, but I don't know what it means. It's always dark and gray.
I'll try to show it to you sometime if I can.
Niles looks up at you, Rimpak, and says, does Tyr bring the sun?
Oh, I'm gonna look at Niles and I'm gonna look him dead in the eyes and I say, justice and doing what is right is the brightest light in the universe.
We
will bring the light.
He looks down at the mace and he looks over at Myrtle and Freak. And he says, well, I can't read, but I want to bring the light.
You follow your heart, Niles. And if you follow your heart, you follow Tyr. And if you understand what justice is, now Niles, justice isn't something you can just pick up in a day. What is right and wrong, it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray in this world, especially here. And I kind of like wave my hand, like this Strahd place is nothing but gray.
Mm-hmm.
So judgment is not something that somebody as young as you should yet carry on your heart. Keep in mind that your path is still yours to choose. If you choose this path, keep in mind, you can always walk another. Because as a person, you always have free will.
What do I do if I don't know what's right or wrong?
You seek Tyr for guidance. And hopefully, he will guide you correctly.
Nice No pipes up at this point, and she says, you do the best you can.
I'll kind of like nod of like, Yeah, basically that. But you give credit to Tyr when you do the right thing, right?
And nice to know, like, her, like, like, the almost attempted crack of a smile at watching what you said just fades as soon as you do that.
Myrtle looks over at Niles and she says, "Niles, when you hit that toad, how did it feel?" And Niles says, "It felt fine." And Myrtle says, "But then how did it feel when Rimpak told you it was wrong?" And Niles says, "That didn't feel good." Myrtle
I like
says, "That's how you know the difference."
Nuru looks so proud. He's gonna wrap his tail around Myrtle.
I'm pulling this all out of my ass.
great.
Yay! Heartfelt moments! Now to kill the kids!
I love you guys, by the way. I fucking love you
children,
guys. I love you
I
guys, by the
appreciate
way.
That's fantastic.
Nuru's gonna look
So-
at Veen again, very intently.
Well, you guys have been having that conversation. Veen's been ignoring it completely and talking to himself.
Me.
So you can like hear Veen mumbling something.
Something chickens battle.
something dark side.
Nuru's going to
Gotta love Robot Chicken
tell Myrtle like,
so much.
that they're planning on going to Vallaki, and we're planning on going to Vallaki, and if I'm being quite honest, I don't want you to go back to your. I think you. Are you okay with coming with us to the top?
Myrtle. Niles steps right in front of Myrtle, between you and Myrtle, and he says, "I'm going to protect Myrtle. I'm going to protect you all. We can't go back to Barovia. Our parents will just give us back to some other witch." And Myrtle, like, taps Niles on the shoulder, and he turns and looks at her, and she goes, with her hand, she, like, "Excuse me," like, waves him out of the way. And she goes, "My parents have been dead for a long time. They're alive, but they're dead."
Like I said, I don't want you guys to have to go back to Barovia. I just want to make sure you're okay to come into Vallaki with us. It'll be safer there.
Irina's promised to take care of me. We've spoken.
That's true. They're both dead.
We've spoken before. I don't know her well, but she's always been kind.
I agree. And, well, we can talk about that later.
I'm gonna go on to Niles and I'm like, "Niles, your parents, they may be poisoned by the evil these witches are peddling. When we get to Vallaki, we will arrange for you to stay there. But my goal is one day to make sure you're reunited with your parents once I cure them or help them see the light." Sound biscuit bean. I like
That
it.
is
Like it's cold.
That is the second worst
Cool.
wrench I've ever had thrown into one of my games.
It's not a wrench, it's a javelin! Oh, God!
Sorry, Rimpak, I did not catch that last part because I looked at those words. And...
Yeah, no, I was just telling them that I vow to go to Barovia, the city of Barovia, and seek out his parents and try to bring them to the light to reunite them. But I don't think it's safe for them to go there either. I'm agreeing with Nuru. We go to Vallaki. I have an inn. I'm sorry, I have an inn with a family inn. I stayed there for a while. They took me in. I think that they might be able to help us out.
Nice. Niles,
You have it in with an in, and there within you shall be safe from Strahd.
Niles,
Ish. Safe-ish.
Niles shakes his head and he says, "I don't want to go back to Barovia. I don't care if my parents live or die. They gave me away.
And I'm gonna sink closer to Niles. I'm gonna grab him by the shoulder and say, Niles, what these witches were peddling was strong and powerful evil. Parents will love their children, and if they are not savable, I will let you know, but I will try to bring them back to the light.
And Tyr will guide us?
Tyr always helps, but we do most of the hard work ourselves.
Okay. Then we should try.
We will.
Divorced.
There was just gonna say
Yeah.
to murder one last time. I promise I'll try my very hardest to come back.
What do you mean come back? Where are you going? We're not coming with you?
No, I'm still going to Vallaki. It's
Oh.
well,
We're all going there, right?
yeah. But I don't think I can stay in the town for long.
And she walks over to Freak and she holds his hand. She says, well then let's go.
Nuru is so damn proud of his new, this is his new daughter, fight me.
Nice. Well, with the benefits of a short rest and a minuscule amount of venison in your bellies, you make your way towards Vallaki on the old Svalich Road. And I will click on some stormy music for effect.
The horse that I brought, I would like to put Freak on the horse. Let Freak ride on the horse as we walk it with us.
You could probably put all three kids up on the horse and let them.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put Niles up front. Then I'm gonna put Freak in the middle, and then Myrtle should be in the back to make sure Freak doesn't fall off.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then you pretend it's a happy fair. You lead them around in a circle.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Get to ride the horse.
Going to slide up to Veen and ask, and like he's gonna look him over critically and ask, do you have enough money to afford in town?
What was that? You blanked out for
Have enough.
And Nuru is gonna look Veen over very critically and then ask him, do you have enough money to afford in town?
You cut out in the key word again
what
twice in a row.
town?
An inn?
Do you have enough to afford anything in town?
Anything in
Money
town.
to afford
Anything in town. Gotcha.
Veen just shrugs. I have no money.
Naru's just gonna sigh and hand him like 150 gold.
Rimpak's gonna see that. I'm like, dang. Drew's loaded and generous.
Veen just shrugs and puts it in his pocket.
Naru has a face like, I can't believe we accidentally got married.
As we leave the camp, though, I will be looking to quietly say
like
something
most couples in D&D, they only stay married for the AC bonus.
As I'm gonna take the reins of the horse, I'm gonna walk the kids, and I'm gonna tell them stories on the way. Just
Nice.
folk tales and general stories of heroics and dare-de-do and all that.
The rest of the road kind of winds. It begins to wind kind of down back into the deeper parts of the valley, and so you come around the bend and come down, and you now have the dense forest once again as it begins to gradually descend on your left hand side, and there's kind of a cliff face that continues to wrap around on your right as you make your way on the road. And eventually it wraps around again. You guys kind of turn and head north a little, northeast a little on the road, and it then wraps around and kind of flattens out pretty evenly. And you're back between just full forest of tall pines that are totally encased in mist. And
I would like to make a survival check upon coming to the flattened area.
okay.
Just for, getting the lay of the land kind of an attitude.
Sure. So as you're guiding the horse, Rimkus with the children and telling these stories, and you round the bend into the deeper parts of the woods, you start to notice that it's gone kind of quiet. There's a deadly silence, and all that's really there is the sound of your voice telling stories and the sound of the rain. And
I like to stop the horse and we'll say, "Ho!"
well, off in the tree line, you in your peripheral vision, you catch this brief glimpse of like a large shadow moving in the mist between trees, and then it's gone. And you continue. You might stop the horse and say "whoa," but for a little bit, you continue to kind of tell the stories to not kind of make the children afraid. But eventually, it becomes quite clear. Another shadow through the mist you see, and another.
I start slowing down in my storytelling. I'm gonna whoa. I'm gonna. Who's closest to me? I see Nice Nose next to me.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna like reach my hand out and I'm gonna touch Nice Nose on the arm.
I guess we can rearrange these a little bit because you would have been like leading the kids with the horse, and so. How mad?
I would have been behind.
I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get in a
behind?
secret word
Okay.
with Rimpak.
Sure.
What?
Well, who's closest to me? That's all I want to know.
You guys can put your tokens where you want.
Nice
on the road.
Nose closest.
Yeah.
I would be creeping up to you because I'm trying to get you in private to tell you.
Okay,
something.
I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna see both Veen and Nice Nose, like close enough. I'm gonna stop the horse and I'm gonna like give him a look, just like a look, like there's something here, like a stern look, like whoa. And then I'm gonna take my quarterstaff, which is my secondary weapon, and as I start pulling it out in hand, like I reach back and I pull it out, just really clear message.
Nice Nose looks around, and as she does, her eyes light up. What do I see within 120 feet? Do I need to make a perception check or?
They were meant to be wolves on this road, so
And-
I need to know where the children are, as to my perspective, like between Nice Snow and them. I want the horse to be between Nice Snow, Veen, and Mice. I want to be on the opposite side of the horse. So I want like some of our companions and then the horse between us, so that the children are protected. That'd be my immediate move. After I looked at them, I would then move to protect.
Are you the one with high animal handling? That sounds
I do have
dangerous.
I have 8 animal handling. There we go.
Because standing
Hey,
behind a horse.
I
isn't
have
the
a token
smartest.
for this.
I'll move around to the horse. That's excellent. Perfect.
But yeah,
Yes,
I'm just gonna
that's what I
say
want.
wolves.
And sorry, Hemdriel, you see the shadows as well, and you can kind of pierce through the mist, and you can tell that these are wolves, but they are 2 to 3 times the size of any wolf you've ever seen in the north.
Naru's gonna draw his new blade. The sun blade.
And
As soon as Nice Nose sees them, she recognizes what a wolf is. So she goes, "Giant wolves," and she readies herself.
I'd like you all to select your tokens and roll initiative.
If it can be a free moment and speak, I would like to turn to Niles, and I'll say, if I fall, ride.
And
He shakes his head very vigorously at you. He's like, you can see little beads of sweat forming on his brow.
Also, are you going to be using Irina and Ismark this combat?
Oh,
Or do you
7.
want to say they run
Right.
off with the children?
No, they don't run off. Irina protects the horse and the children. Ismark will participate in combat. But thank you for asking. That's a good question.
Nuru is going to try one last time to hand a dagger to Myrtle.
She shakes her head.
What's up with that?
Slap the damn child!
Defend yourself!
No, toughen up! Psh, toughen up! Psh.
Thought she was smart.
So, how short is Rimpak on spell slots?
After a short rest, I don't gain anything more from
Yeah.
spells. And and after with no long rest, I don't have my access to my next level spells. But I still have.
I think you got a couple.
I do have a couple. I still have my level 1 stuff.
Nice.
Still got 4 level 1s, but no level 2s or 3s. That's all gone.
So we finished a short rest, correct?
A short
That's correct.
rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got your 2.
Unless I got a bonus from wisdom. No, that's not. Never mind.
I had to
Different.
ban my first player from my channel
Take that.
Dale,
for
you-
player.
being a piece of shit.
Oh, what happened?
Nothing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, not worth it. Let's
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, kudos to you though. When it has to happen, it has to happen. That's all there is to it.
That's why I kind of lost focus there for a second. All right, let's see.
So describe to us how these wolves mutilate the kid.
Through me first, yo.
Wolf charges forward and bears a large maw of fangs and attempts to
Did
bite
you not
you.
roll a hit die, Frankie?
Huh?
Did you not roll hit die during the short rest?
Nuru did.
Okay, it just shows you're not at full health for me.
So
he was
One hit
a
die. Got
giant
hit
wolf, this giant wolf that actually, Nuru, its shoulder blades come up essentially to like your shoulder blades. It's a massive creature and it charges forward and sinks its teeth into your arm and
That's a
bites
horse.
down hard. You take 7 piercing damage and I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Cool. Nuru's gonna have that damage.
Okay, you take 3.
And a strength saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
You're all gonna suck.
Ooh.
Wolf.
Inspiration.
Okay. Nice. Use those things. The wolf attempts to drag you down. Instead of dragging you down, his sharp fangs pull straight through your flesh, and your arm is just heavily bleeding now. And the wolf snarls at you, and one of his companions
Nuru his back.
darts forward as well. Let's see. Creature at least one of the wolf's allies is within 5 feet. So rushes towards the party and he attempts to bite you, Rimpak.
Yes.
14 to hit, so I think that's a miss for you. And he just clamps onto a hefty bit of metal. You can feel the strength of the wolf's grab, but you do not take any damage.
Right. I'm gonna start banging on my shield with my quarterstaff as if it is a free action. I want to start drawing attention to me.
Another wolf emerges from the tree line from the northwest
Damn.
of you. Ooh, these guys have 50 feet of speed? Holy shit.
Yep, that's direwolf stuff.
And one of them tries to bite you there, Veen. 19 to hit for 11 piercing damage. If that hits you, I need you to make a strength saving throw.
+2 to AC.
The wolf clamps onto your meaty leg and takes a big, deep bite into your calf. He releases his grasp and snarls at you.
Also,
His
as he
red,
was coming up
bloodshot
on me,
eyes.
Can I reaction take an attack of opportunity
Yes.
from Polearm Master?
Absolutely. Nice.
That hits. That hits.
You swiftly draw your polearm, and as it dives towards you, the blade of your weapon just slices down the side of the creature. And then it sinks its teeth into your flesh. Hemdriel.
Hemdriel, seeing the two wolves pounce on the forward, she's already has her hand up and running. Her arm glows, the veins pop forward, and she launches forward what looks like a bright light that slams. Eldritch Blast.
Let me mark these guys, but which one are you shooting at? The one that just bit Veen?
The one that is near Rimpak. She's looking forward.
That one?
Gotcha.
Yeah, she's looking forward at that one and was preparing for that.
So 17 is definitely a hit.
Okay. So just making sure I have the math here correct. Okay, good, it is. Ooh, poor roll. 6 force damage.
Nice. Veen, you're up.
Okay, rage time.
Don't you get to do that twice at level 5?
Let me check. This is a new
I think
thing
it's
for me.
2 blasts, not 2 attacks. But yeah.
So let me just join the channel.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Do you know that?
Yeah, at 5th level it shoots 2 beams.
Oh,
So,
dang. That's perfect.
So out of her one hand, 2 beams shoot forward and hit that one. So can I roll damage again, or
You roll the
Go
attack roll separately.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So
It's
2
like
attacks.
it's like
Okay.
attacking twice like a fighter would. Yeah.
Forever noted.
And you can split it.
Yeah, so I'll say that for now. They're both targeting the one in front of Rimpak.
Cool. Nice. How does that
Yeah,
look? How does that look like now that you have 2 of them? How does that change the dynamic of your cast of the spell?
Because she's focusing on the one, her arm instinctively twists, and as it does, the 2 light beams helix around each other as they're hitting towards the wolf.
Nice. Veen, you're up.
Yep, so I enter rage, my spirit burrows come out again. And I will be attacking Green Wolf.
Shield me, my brother! Shield me!
What does that look like when your spirit bros appear? Like, do you guys have any kind of interaction between each other? Like,
They kind of just separate from my body, but they both look distinguishingly different from me.
Do you bro fist them as they leave your body?
And then I'm going to attack Green Wolf.
19 is a hit for
15
sure.
damage.
15. You bring
And then
your
extra
pole arm
attack.
as the wolf kind of charges for you and bites down on your calf, and you draw your glaive and slice it down one side of his body. As it lets go, you just swipe it back around really swiftly, and just a big gash opens in the wolf's chin, kind of splitting the bottom of his maw wide open.
And then my second attack.
And 12. And then that's like the blunt end, right?
No, I have an
just
extra
2?
attack.
Oh, okay. And then you can still blunt end, right?
It's a bonus action, so he's entering my range.
Okay.
Next turn I can. This turn I cannot.
So then you just drive your glaive down deeper, and it opens a big slash in the wolf's belly. It whimpers and almost collapses to his feet. 1 HP left.
And that is my turn.
Nuru, you're up.
Nuru grasps his new sword for the first time in combat And
You draw the Sunblade?
Yes,
Nice.
with both hands. And he swipes at the wolf that attacked.
The dark forest around you erupts in a bright light of day. You see actually Niles and Myrtle both turn their heads towards the erupting light of the sword in surprise. Probably for either of them, never seeing a light so bright in their lives.
Nuru hisses and just jabs forward with his blade.
Nice.
And sneak attack.
Nope.
Wait,
You don't get sneak attack with the one you hit. You have someone next to you and no ally next to it.
Veen's an encyclopedia of this stuff. Wow.
Which one are
I
you?
know, right?
Which one are you?
Amazing.
Which one are you hitting?
You'd have
Well,
sneak attack.
Nuru has an ally within 5 feet, so they get sneak attack
Yeah.
either way. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's an ally next to the enemy, not next to Nuru. You can double check it, or you can just roll it whichever way you want.
let me look at.
Hashtag Jedi Knight Nuru.
Hashtag rule of cool. Do it.
Well, let me move this. Oh, I marked these wolves twice. That's why. So this one is
Okay.
actually blue. So
Thank you. I was wondering, like, what the colors those two, orange and green.
why can't I
Let me see.
mark this one separately? Gonna pop
You
a
don't
new-
need advantage on attack roll if another
We just call him
enemy of the
blank.
target is within 5 feet of it. So it needs to be within 5 feet of what you're attacking.
Yeah, but also
There you go.
So you're hitting the. You were going for the blue one.
yeah.
Well, Ismark is there.
Giant.
So Ismark is there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That fixes it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good catch, Veen. That's a
27. You draw the sun. You draw the sunblade and it erupts in bright light. You drive it down into the dire wolf, and you can see it is essentially like you drive it into the wolf, and the light dims, and then you pull it out again, and you can see the wound. Like there's no blood. It cauterizes, and the wolf takes 27 points of damage.
28.
totally a lightsaber. I love it. So cool.
28.
28. I'm 5 beers deep. Rimkus, you're up.
All right. 6. No. I'm going.
Let's not play
I'm
that
gonna-
game, sir.
Yes.
One time with my Tomb of Annihilation group, we did a session and we called it Drinking with Dragons. And so anytime I said the word Arakakra, anyone who chose to participate in Drinking with Dragons had to drink. And it just so happened that they were going to visit a race of bird folk called the Arakaka that session. And halfway through, I was just saying it fucking... it's like a blurred... yeah, it was insane.
Polly want a shot?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell the nice what I've been doing it because my notes start getting very sparse.
I have bad
Rat,
habits.
Wet my whistle.
I have bad habits. Yeah.
I'm going to continue banging my shield with my quarterstaff, but I'm going to cast Sanctuary on the horse behind me. With the children, of course. The whole
nice. Yeah,
shebang.
it will encapsulate them all.
All right, I'm going to click it. Clickety. And then that's my thing. But continue to bang. I'm trying to, taunt, draw attention to myself.
I mean,
So the whole-
Sanctuary is a bonus action, so you can still attack if you want.
Oh. What? Oh, it is a bonus action. Oh my god, I've never ruled it as such. Man, that's a big mistake.
Real quick. If the warded creature makes an attack or casts a spell, the effect on the enemy creature, this spell ends.
Right.
Just
I did-
reminding.
I mean, hopefully the kids don't attack.
Okay.
Well, hopefully. Well, all right, then I'll make an attack at the wolf that
If
bit at me.
things get weird, Niles might, but for now they're fine.
Well, sure. We do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make a quarterstaff one-handed attack because I have my shielded in my other arm, attacking the closest wolf to me, the one that bit at me.
Gotcha. 16 is a hit. You whack it
Right on. All right.
with your quarterstaff.
Smack it across his mouth,
Mhm.
right across his jaw.
Yeah.
Like a.
You actually knock one of its teeth out. Not its like big fang, but the one right next to that one.
Nice.
Yeah. Ismark draws his silvered dagger. Wait, I better actually check what Ismark's weapons are.
He has a rapier. He stole Ricky's.
So he draws a short sword. But the blade seems to be like especially shiny. It seems like it's been silvered, and he tries to stab at the wolf with it. He just he kind of seems a little surprised by the light of the sun blade. He wasn't expecting that, and at the last moment, as Nuru's kind of pulling the blade out of the wolf, he fumbles for his sword and tries to stick it into the wolf in front of him, and just kind of swipes right over the top of it. Another wolf rushes down and tries to make an attack against you, Veen.
I get my attack of opportunity first, yeah?
Yep. For 14 damage. And then the wolf bites into you. You take 6 piercing damage because you're raging, and I need you to make a strength saving throw for me. You get dragged to the ground as the wolf jumps all up and lands right next to his companion. He bites right into your shoulder blade and then drags you directly to the ground as you kind of slice into him with the end of your polearm. Another wolf rushes in and attempts to bite Ismark. Oh wow, I didn't realize Ismark has so much AC. Kind of regaining his composure, Ismark turns just as the last second as this other emerge pounces out of the tree line and draws his blade up in front of him just in time, and the wolf bites down on his sword. And then a wolf tries to bite Rimpak. He clamps down on kind of a low part of your leg where your metal armor is not... you have plate mail on, don't you?
Yeah. Yes.
So he kind of sinks his teeth into like the backside of your leg. The wolf actually kind of like swipes his paw out and pulls your leg forward, and then he bites into like the backside behind where the plate covers.
Am I prone?
6 piercing damage. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
All right. Would I be prone?
If you fail, you will get knocked prone.
Come on. Oh,
the wolf
dang it.
Pulls your leg out from under you, and you just crumple and fall on your back.
Yeah, I'm so heavy from my armor, too.
It's
very embarrassing. I'm a very proud man to fall over.
The wolf that you've kind of split the bottom part of his jaw open, and he's now just gushing blood out at you, Veen, as you have been dragged down by this other wolf. He just slams his top 2 fangs, or attempts to slam his top 2 fangs down into you. 24 to hit, and you take 5 piercing damage as he just like drives his fangs into your kind of abdomen area. And Hemdriel, you're up.
Hemdriel is going to once again target the one at Rimpak with another double shot.
Both hit. 2 blasts of celestial energy.
20 force damage. It's the same one that she was targeting before.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, like, the wolf's eyes begin to They're like these red, bloodshot eyes. All these animals look crazed. And as you let loose your divine energy into the beast, the wolf's eyes begin to glow a bright white, and then they explode, and the wolf drops down dead.
Eyes explode. Oh, that's tight.
Veen, you're up.
I like that.
Well, I'm going to stand up,
Yes.
and then I'm going to attack purple.
Cool. 20 is a hit.
And then I'm going to attack him again.
You slash your
That's it, take it.
pole arm down, and you just crack right into the massive wolf's backside, like right on the top of his spine. He like crumples under the weight of your blow, and then you try to bring your pole arm back around over your head and strike into his side, but you just misjudge the distance and swipe right over the top of him.
And as I'm swinging over the top of him, I'm going to try and pulse smack green.
And then with the blunt end of your weapon, you hit the other wolf right in the snout, and it lets out a whimper and crumples down dead.
Dang,
You're up.
nice.
Nuru will target the same one before, a little blue dire with his sword once again, slashing out.
Nice. The blazing sword drives into the beast, and it doesn't even let out a whimper as the sword just kind of cuts straight through like butter. You don't even feel any resistance, and there's a kind of a black line across the wolf's throat, and its head just topples next to its body as it falls down dead. Rimkus, you're up.
Naru's gonna look back real quick at the children to make sure that they're still there and still okay.
As you look back at the children, Niles is like moving his head between the wolves, all kind of surrounding you, looking at everyone, seeing that you're all still kind of okay. He's holding onto the reins of the horse very tightly, and you can see that Myrtle's got her hands perched on the back of Freak's shoulders, holding him tightly in between the two of them.
I will like to stand up, and I'm gonna put my hand on Niles' leg. They get him to look at me, and I always give him a look like a very confident, like give him a thumbs up, like this is good, you're doing very well, like this is fine, kind of like don't worry, just like hey, just some wolves, kind of a look, like cool, calm, collected. I'm gonna come around to their side of the horse. And can I get up and attack, or do I have? Is that a different thing?
It takes half your movement to stand, so it takes 15 feet of movement to stand up. Yeah.
I don't think I have enough
So you
movement
have
to
5 feet
attack.
left.
Yeah, I don't have enough movement to attack. So I'm just gonna stand at the opposite side of the horse, and I'm gonna bring my shield up.
I mean, you can. Let me
I'm
move
gonna
these
bang my
out.
shield.
Let me move these out of the way. So you can move up and attack this wolf up here with 15 feet of movement.
But I have a movement penalty because of a. Wait a minute.
You're just a human. You have 30 feet.
Yeah,
But I
he's
have
wearing
a
armor that's too
heavy armor penalty.
That gives you a penalty to your movement speed?
It's
Yeah, because he doesn't have
supposed
enough strength to use it.
Yeah.
Where is that
So he
rule?
loses. I can get the copy for it. It's written under heavy armor.
Yeah, I got a negative to movement.
What is your strength modifier?
I
Plus
think-
1. I think I need a +2 to wear.
Plate mail?
Well, it's the heaviest of armor. I forget exactly which.
Do you have 13 strength?
I have. I do have 13 strength.
Okay,
It
so
depends
he's strong.
specifically on which armor it is.
Yeah, so he's 13 strength, meaning he can wear chainmail and he can wear half plate, but plate armor is 15 strength.
And it weighs me down, so I'm a little bit too weak to wear it. But I'm wearing it anyway because I'm proud and it's shiny.
Sure.
And I like to look fancy.
Well, you
And-
stand. You stand with half your move, and you can move 10 more feet, I guess. You'll have to You'll have to tell me where that rule is later, because I've never heard that before.
I think it's actually in the armor. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. But I'm gonna stand just on the opposite side of the horse. I'm gonna raise my shield. Once again, I'm gonna start banging it to draw attention towards myself, trying to again draw attacks from these last two wolves towards me. And I'm also gonna holler. Can I scream like holler with animal handling?
Yeah,
to like
sure.
get them to notice me. Okay, I'm gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna roll in. Oh damn! Ah! Hey, over here! This is what I get.
You get a really odd look from Nuru.
and from Niles as well.
Ladies,
just-
isn't that great?
He just
get
lost a little faith in you. Yeah.
Didn't he ever, man? Dang it. That's all it takes.
Ismark
That's all it takes.
swings his short sword at the wolf nearest to him, and he sticks it into the wolf for 5 slashing damage. He just sticks it in and out very quickly. Purple wolf attempts to bite you, Veen. His ally is dead, and so your two spirit bros kind of you guys see these two ghostly figures as this wolf goes to bite Veen. They step in front of him, and each of them grabs the bottom and the top parts of the wolf's mouth and hold it in place, and it's not able to bite down on Veen. And then Wolf attempts to bite Ismark. And Ismark keeps his silvered sword in front of him, and he chips at one of the wolf's teeth as well, as the wolf tries to bite at him. This is a dead wolf. Hemdriel, you're up.
And here comes another dead wolf. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, natural 20.
Well done. Are you going for purple or orange?
She's going for orange,
Nice.
thinking that
After
Veen
this,
can handle himself.
after this combat, we'll take our break.
Oh!
3, 4, 6,
Oh!
Oh,
Oh!
melted.
Oh my goodness!
I want to like this.
Your divine energy streaks down the side of the wolf, just kind of burning all the fur along one side of the massive creature. There's like tendrils of smoke coming up from this now half fur-covered, half-naked beast. And that flesh on that side's all blackened and boiled and stuff, you know. Looks like
I would
burns.
also-
Yeah.
I also sent you the heavy armor rule regarding speed
Gotcha.
reduction.
Thank you. Yeah. Veen, you're up.
I'm going to rotate around to Shah, and I will attack purple first.
18 is a hit.
Is he still up?
Oh no, actually. How do you kill the wolf?
Head clean off.
Nice.
Just bring it down.
Can't let your
executioner.
husband show you up, you know.
And then I'm going to turn to the orangey ready wolf.
Okay.
I'm going to decapitate that one as well.
Are you?
15 is a hit, and you do.
Oh, okay.
One massive arcing swing, and a big wolf head tumbles to the floor between your feet. Then you swiftly turn and underhandedly bring up your glaive under the other wolf's chin, and you just see its head separate from its body, tumble back down its back, and fall behind the wolf as the creature slumps to the ground.
I'm then going to use my bonus action to spit on it.
Nice.
Nice Snow immediately looks towards the kids and such. Are they fine?
They're fine. Niles looks down at Rimkus from the top of the horse and says, "Tyr does guide us, And Myrtle, Nuru, you can hear Myrtle lean in and whisper into Freak's ear, "Are you okay?" And Freak doesn't move, but you hear Freak say, "Freak." And we'll take our break, 5-minute break.
I will say that Nice seeing all the dead wolves would be like,